Hey, what's going on, bass family? It's your boy Ray J coming at you with another bass talk. I'm gonna try to do a video while my youngest is still asleep. Youngest? I mean oldest, JoJo. So just wanted to, talk to the Saints real quick. Just talk to y'all about being intimidated slash being a little nervous and scared. Talk about that. So let's go to the throne of grace. Your name is Shai. Forgive us for all our sins. Continue to cleanse us from all of our unrighteousness. Everything that's in us that's not like you, take it out right now. We just thank you for another day in the land of the living. Thank you for life, health, and strength, and ability of our limbs. And as we go into this talk, help me to speak with clarity and help the viewers understand uh, with clarity, Father. And as we water and plant, continue to give the increase in all things. You'll get all the glory, honor, and praise. For it's in your Son's, Yeshua's name, we pray. Amen. So, like I was saying, I wanted to talk about being intimidated. There, I don't want to be deep, but there are different viewpoints of being intimidated. There's, I won't say different stages, but it's different ways to approach. Whether if you're intimidated by someone, you're intimidated by the bass and by playing um, in front of people, and there's also a way that you could try to intimidate other bases, or not try to so much intimidate, but to maybe mark your base territory to let them know, I'm nice. So I'm just talk about like those three aspects, because no matter whatever you do, whenever you're working in your field or doing something, everyone wants some sort of validation that they're a good, or they're adequate, or they're it's not so much professional, but you're good. Everyone wants that version of acceptance, and for their for musicians, the best form of validation, to me, the best form. There are many different forms, like someone telling you, "Oh, cat, yo, bro, you killed," or "Yo, sis, you were doing your thing." That's validation. That means they accept your playing, they like your playing. But the best form of validation slash acceptance, or that approval, or that someone approves of your playing or likes your playing, is by getting gigs. No matter how often they come or not, by someone asking you, "Hey, can you play for my service?" or "Hey, can you? I got this gig at the jazz club," or something, whatever. To get a gig, that's the highest form of validation, because that's letting you know, especially if it's paid. Hopefully, it's paid, because someone is paying you for a service. Most people don't pay people for bad services, especially within, being a musician, because most people would have either heard you play or know someone who can vouch for you. So that is the biggest form of validation or approval that you can hear. You don't have to tell me I'm good. No one has to tell me I'm good. If I keep getting gigs, that's me. That's them telling, "Wow, we like your playing. We want to listen to it. We want you to be part of setting the atmosphere, for our church service, or we want you to hold down the fort musically wise." So people getting compliments, "Hey, yo, bro, you killed it." It feels good to you, because, like I said, everybody wants to be accepted in whatever field they're doing. Everyone wants to know that, I am on, a level, a respectable level. I may not be the master, but I'm on a respectable level where people appreciate my craft. So that's always good to hear. And if people say, "Hey, you're good," you always say thanks. Never take like, "Nah, I sucked it up." Don't do that. Don't reduce their compliment. You always say thank you, I appreciate it, or what I always say, I say, "To God be the glory." I say thank you, to God be the glory. That's what I do. I say, give Him all the glory, because you don't want to get prideful. If a lot of people start saying, "Yeah, you killed today, bro," and you be like, "Yeah, I did do good," because I've been there, and that's the slippery slope of hyping your head up, and it happens a lot. The same people that kind of build your ladder are often the people that tries to chop it down. If you think, oh yeah, he's changing all that. So the best way to ignore it, you just say, you say, thanks, man, I appreciate it, and you always, pay the favor back. Whether if someone sounds good or not, I always tell them because everyone needs that encouragement. I know I said I was talking about intimidation, but I guess, there was a shift to talk about being validated in your bass playing or approval. So, because I've been there when you're just starting, just to hear encouragement, like, hey man, keep up the good work, or you sound good, man. You've been playing longer, or whatever. I've been there where I know I sucked it up, whether if I just started or not. And someone still say you sounds good, it's encouraging, and I always give that back. If I hear someone that I kind of know, he didn't, he or she isn't hasn't been playing long. I always go up and have a conversation. I'm like, yo, what's your name? You know how long you been playing? Oh, okay. I'm like, yo, you sound good, man. Just keep it up, and just giving them a quick wisdom because that goes a long way. Trust me. So remember, the best form of validation you can receive from someone is for them to hire you for a gig, whether if it's a church service, a barbecue, whatever. If someone wants you to play for one of his or her events, that is the biggest form of validation. Flattery with the words, it's cool, but it doesn't put money in your pocket. It doesn't pay the bills. It doesn't help get you known unless they're going to tell someone to hire you for a gig. Then you could take. But remember, the best form of validation is, it will always be someone hiring you for a gig because they're saying, I'm investing in your playing because your playing is good. It's just like, you can have a great job resume. You go to a bunch of interviews. They go, wow, we really like your resume. But they don't hire you. What's the point? An employer who validates or who approves of your resume is going to hire you because it's pleasing to them. That's the biggest form of having a great resume. You getting hired. You know, is it right? You just grilling me in front of I'm talking to the people, man, trying to encourage them. You're validated by me. You're a great son. You know that? Huh? He said, so why am I tilted then? I'm sorry, son. So anyway, so yeah. All right, so let's flip the switch. Let's talk about intimidation. So like usually the first level of intimidation you may have experienced, and I know I experienced it because that's why I'm able to talk about it. Is when you first start playing, you're practicing, you're feeling good practicing. Like, yeah, I know, okay, I got the major scale. You learn, let's say you learn your first song, no matter what it is, and then you have to go and play in front of a church service. And if you have never played in front of people, you go up there like, yo, today is the day. And let's say you start off doing good. You're not doing too much. You're just doing a bare minimum. And then it comes in some time, it comes a part in the song where you forget. And that's when you really get nervous. Like, oh, shoot, what's the next song? What's the next note? And you hit the wrong note. And either the keyboard player corrects you or someone looks like, what? And then you just get that, that rush, that heart rush. Like, it brings back the time where you used to get in trouble by your parents or the teacher was gonna call home. You get that type of fear. It's like, oh shoot. So what I'll say to that, if because again I experienced it a lot of time. I practice, then I go and try to play. Well, I would play at the church service during praise and worship. Then I would hit the wrong note, and I'm playing. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm scrambling to find it, and not really having a stable mindset because I'm just trying to, find it instead of just relaxing and I'm gonna catch the next note. So if you're experiencing that, or if you have experienced that, or if you're currently experiencing that, the best thing to do, like if you find yourself um, getting scared to play in front of people, of course, don't be scared, but embrace it because it's part of It's just part of growing into being a better bass player, just embracing the nervousness. And sometimes when you get nervous, you're able to focus more, believe it or not. But you got to tell your mind focus, because it's just feel your blood rushing, and that's your body sending more blood to your mind so that you can focus. Don't quote me on that. I ain't a doctor or anything. It just sounded good. So if you feel yourself getting nervous, you just want to remember whatever song you're playing. All right, just say, okay, I know this, and trust in what you're doing. Believe in what you've been practicing. If you know you've been practicing right, you just play what you practice. All right. Of course, there may come changes in the song where a piano player might tell you to do something. If that happens, okay, and then you make sure he tells you how to get back on track. So I'm not saying don't be nervous. You can't control being nervous to like a full thing, because that's just part of like a new experience basically when um, you're nervous. That just happens. So you have to go through that. But I'm just saying, I'm just giving you tips on how to get through it so that you're not terrified or you're not intimidated of public playing, because that sure should be your ultimate goal, to play in public. But if you don't want to play in public, that's fine. But most people who are musicians, they want to play in public, because that leads to more gigs. If that's what you want to, if that is what you want to do, so embrace the nervousness. All right, because it's in that moment where you can be brave, which is acting in spite of the fear or nervous, or you could just shut down, not play. And even if that has happened to you before, because there was a few times where I didn't know the song and I couldn't find on, I just stopped playing. And most of the time, the key was like, "Yo, just hold on." And of course, it's embarrassing because it's like you feel as though, "No, just give me the notes. I know I'm not getting them, but I'm a rookie." And to them, if you're not catching on, it's like you're holding like the song back or the service back. So it's just understanding both concepts. So what I did, I took it on myself. I remember one time I didn't know a song and I was just screwing up, and the keyboard was just like this. Whenever you get this as a musician, and it's not just to break in the song, but to actually stop playing, it's pretty embarrassing, because it's basically you're not doing your job well enough to play on this song. And if you experience that early in your playing, it can be discouraging. Like, who is he? And you can get mad, but you don't got to do all that. You don't got to do all that. Just think about it. If you don't know the song and they tell you to stop playing, they're helping you out, because they're not exposing you. And this is how I chose to think of it. They're not exposing you and you're off playing. Like, if you don't know the song, you don't know the song. You shouldn't be upset. Now, it's different if you know the song and they're still telling you to stop. But I'm talking if you don't know the song and someone tells you to stop playing, you shouldn't take it as disrespect or anything, because you don't know the song. All right, so I remember that happened to me. Of course, you get salty, like, yeah. And then after, I was like, yo, my bad, man. I was trying to follow, but I couldn't. And what I would do, whatever song I didn't learn or I didn't know, I would go home. That in all that week, I would just key on that song and practice on that song, and that's how I would do. And when I was coming up, like if I thought a church may sing a song, I would practice it, and I still do that from time to time, especially with hymns, because I play at AME church, and they could bust out with any hymn at any time. So it's like certain hymns I practice because I'm pretty sure they're go tos, like "What a Friend We Have in Jesus" or um, "What a Fellowship." I make sure I kind of know that melody line just to be prepared. So whenever it comes, oh God bless you. Mm, that's a mighty call. So whenever it comes up, I can be prepared. So that's another piece of advice to lessen the nervousness or the intimidating factor of playing in public or being unprepared. Practice songs that you think, if you're playing in church, that they might sing, because churches, we recycle songs all the time, so they're not going to be singing, new songs for the next 3 months straight. Doesn't happen. Like, we recycle songs, so you get that list, you practice, like, okay, just so, because repetition brings confidence. The more you do something, the more you practice at it, the better you should get. But not only that, the more confident you're going to get in doing that. Whether if it's playing the bass, playing any instrument, doing schoolwork, math. The more you practice math, because I hate math, but the more I do it, the more confident, the more confidence I'm gonna get in that subject. So it's the same thing with bass. The more you practice songs, the better you're gonna get. Repetition brings confidence. Confidence brings success, and that's another way to help yourself in the midst of feeling intimidated by the it's not pressure to play, but feeling intimidated of playing in public, playing around people. The more you practice, the more success and confidence you're going to get. And the number one way to really, if your fear or if you get a lot of nervous while playing in public, whoever is closest to you, like if you live with anyone, play in front of them. Cause I know this for a fact. The hardest people to play in front of, to where you get the most nervous, is always the people you know, because you respect their opinions of you more than anyone. Like literally, it's the truth in all areas. If your sister calls you ugly, it's like it could be the end of the world for you. But literally, 100 people that you don't know could come up and say you're ugly. But I don't care. But if your sister calls you ugly, or if your sister says your playing sucks, or your brother or something, like, yo, you're terrible. Anyone else can tell you that, but it will brush off your shoulder, and vice versa. You could play sucky in front of like people that you don't know, and it won't hurt as bad. You won't be thinking about it as much as playing with people in front of you that you do know, because their opinion of you carries a lot. Case in point, me. Like I be getting, are you alright, buddy? I be getting nervous. Well, I won't say nervous, but I think twice when I'm playing in front of my wife, because I know if I do something that's little sticky or edgy, she gonna give me this look, and I'm bound to get pissed off. Like, what is that wrong? No, it's wrong because it's just, now if she were a random person, I wouldn't care, but it's because she's my wife, and hearing her say something sounds good, it feels the best thing in the world, as well as hearing like, that's not it. What you mean that's not it? Like hit, and I try to do it again, I'm off. And that's about, you're humbling yourself, which is it all kind of, you always want to be humble. You never get to a place where you think you got it all, or you know it all, or I tried to be to that place a few times, and it never worked well for me. And it's just all how you think about it. You know what I mean? So practice in front of people. Practice in front of people that you know or that you live with, because that will help you greatly um, concerning playing in public. It will. It will. Trust me. Trust me. The next thing. So that's the first form of intimidation. When you're first playing, you intimidated, or just not so much extremely frightened, but kind of nervous. Intimidation slash nervousness. When you're nervous in front of and playing in front of, a crowd for the first time. Now, the second part is, okay, so I could play in church. I'm not scared anymore. But there's another bass player. There's another bass player there, and that bass player can either play before you or after you, but there's another bass player there. So now it's kind of like competition driven, where you can still be humble, but in your mind, it's like, if I know there's another person doing my job, I basically want to show them that I'm good at doing my job, if not better than them. I believe that a lot of musicians, like, again, not flattery, but validation from other musicians or other people in your job, it means a lot to us because it's a feeling that I'm good in the position or I'm good at my job. Everyone wants to feel that they're good and valuable at their job. So let's say, um, and I give you experience. So it was like 2012. I've been playing for 4 years. I wasn't afraid to play in public anymore or anything like that. So, and I had this gig. Her name is Terry Remsen. She's a recording artist. I didn't do any recording with her, but it's when she was first getting her career started. We had to do Byron Cage's "Anyhow," and I knew the song because I played it multiple times. So we had it was like a concert in Jersey, and it was this dude. His name is Bill Williams, and he's a super cool dude. It's my man. He's cool, and he could play everything. He could play everything: drum, bass, guitar. And he was playing the drum. He was playing the guitar and drums at this service we were at. So he started playing the bass, and he was killing. Like he was killing. I'm like, yo, he's killing. I said, yeah, but when I get up there, I'm gonna really do my thing because my nerves were starting to get like, yo, I can't suck it up today because he's killing. Other musicians are killing. I can't be the one that's left behind not killing. So I said, I gotta kill. So it was like a 2.5 hours later. Other people played, and we were like the last group, one of the last groups to go. So when I got up there, I was already walking nervous. And again, this was my 4th year playing, so I have been playing a long time. Well, I won't say a long, long time, but I wasn't, rookie. I wasn't a beginner anymore. By this time, I was already doing videos, encouraging the brother. But to let you know that, listen, man, I got stories for days about, bass playing. So I got up there, and I'm sitting there just trying to be cool and take my time. And she's ready to start the song, and I still got it tuned up. So that already messed me up. Where I didn't come in when they came in because I was still tuned up. And what I should have said is, yo, just I got to tune up real fast. All right, but I'm trying to, be cool. So I didn't come in, and that little change messed the whole song up for me. You know what I mean? So they came in, and I had to catch it on like not the one, not the beginning. And at this point, it's like my mind just went blank. Like literally, it went blank. I tried to start to find the notes, but the good thing about repetition and practicing the song, when you actually play it, if you've been practicing a lot, even if you don't know, you could kind of, it's muscle memory. Like, and that's what I was relying off of. Not because I'm looking at the fretboard, like, what the freak are these notes? But thank God of muscle memory, I was still able to flow just because I practiced the song so many times. That's the only thing that saved me. But even in that, I was still screwing up. And then I remember one time I tried to do a lick. Like my hand started shaking and I tried to do a lick and nothing came out. Nothing came out. I'm like, yo, are you kidding me? And I tried to kill it. And I remember I did. It was like a harmonic. It was terrible. And the drummer looked like that. Yeah, I said, nah, not really, because it was terrible. I was sucking it up, and all the while the dude, Mr. Bill, he was sitting right there. He didn't laugh or anything, but it was like the overwhelming factor or the nervous factor of, trying to indirectly play good so that he can see that I'm good, so that he can see that I don't suck, so I can say to myself I don't suck, and starting the song late and playing the wrong notes and doing all that stuff, all that equal to a disaster song that I played. It was a disaster. It was a straight disaster because I remember afterwards I called my boy Aaron, and his dad is Stephen Ford, one of the the top names in the gospel industry. You know, he was producer, directed, musical director for like the Winans, the Hawkins, you name it. He's been there. You know what I mean? And I told him, And then he said, I talked to my dad. My dad was like, yo, man, you just got to embrace it. That's part of it. Everybody gets nervous. That's the point of practice. And so you could perform the right way. So, that helped me. But that's the second level. Well, I won't say second level, but second part of intimidation that I've experienced, where I was intimidated because there was another bass player that was better, and it kind of like you question yourself, like, am I that good? Like, you sit in your mind, you try to flatter yourself. Oh yeah, I can do that, but you really can't. And then after I played, it was another bass player that got on, and he was killing. I was like, it was like I was almost in tears. Like, yeah, that time where you really effed up, and it's like, dang, I really effed up, and that's how I was feeling. You know what I mean? But what I did, and it's all about, it's not just what you do, the mistakes you made. How do you fix your mistake so next time you're right? So the next time, I think it was like maybe 2 weeks later, we had to play again, and at this time, it was a James Hall CD release that we had to play for. Like, we had to play praise and worship in 2 songs, and I said, on this song, I'm gonna make sure I nail it. I've learned from this experience of being intimidated, feeling inferior, because I already knew my playing wasn't like that. But no one wants to feel like they're inferior to someone else. Especially if I won't even say it's just men, but men or women. Like, if you got that competitive mindset, like, I want to sound good, you don't like sounding or feeling like you're inferior. And sometimes that can be a good thing, but in my case, this time it was a bad thing because I sucked it up, and it was like, I guess you are inferior. Now, if I wouldn't have had that mindset, I would have did fine. If I would have just played the song as well, it would have went fine. But no, Mr. Ray wanted to try to chop city, and was suck. When I tell you, I was doing chops that didn't fit, losing the one and everything, and I was standing up, which makes it what made it worse because I wasn't used to playing standing up. It's a big difference between playing sitting down, and playing standing up. I was like, and I remember, man, because it's one of those things that, okay, humble yourself, and I did. So the next time we played the song, now, like I said, this was for even a bigger event because one of my bass inspirators, ins- inspirators, one of the people that were that's my, are one of my biggest inspirations. That is one of my biggest inspiration. Reggie Young played for Hezekiah Walker, signed by Federa bassist. He was there, but this time he was playing after me. So what I did, I blocked all that out, and this was a bigger event. I just said, you know what, I'm gonna do the song, and because I had a change of mindset of how I'm going into it, I said I'm gonna just do me, and we're just gonna have fun. I played it and I did the song well, especially compared to the last time I had to play the song. So that's another tip. If you get intimidated, and it's okay, man. I've been intimidated many times by other bass players, and especially sometimes the greatest intimidation comes from when there's someone younger than you that's better than you, or if there's someone that hasn't been playing as long as you and is better than you. You kind of feel like, yo, I really like, yo, he's a beast, and you try to justify, well, I can do that. Oh, okay, but you can't because you haven't practiced it. So you go home and practice. Cause I got stories about that. It was like 2 years ago. His name is Emmett Walker, young boy. He's my young boy. We're real cool and everything. He said he's only been playing the bass for like 2 years. It sounded like he's been playing the bass for like 10. And he plays for a lot of people in Jersey. He's at Berklee College of Music, and Young Bull is a problem. And I'm like, he's only been playing the bass for 2 years. I said, he like, yo, bro, show me what you got. I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm like, you just did all that. Like, he's a pro. His name is Emmett Walker. He's real cool and down to earth. But I was like, dang, man, I felt kind of like he's only been playing 2 years and he's doing all that. So that's another thing. Humble yourself. You go work. You know what I mean? So when it comes to these experiences, I know people are out there. People may not speak on, but I have no shame. Again, the biggest validation I have is that I play for multiple churches. So it's nice hearing another bass player say you sound good, but I don't care because you. It's not like you're giving me money for every compliment you give me. So I'm confident in my playing, and of course is getting better. I'm not content because getting better is an everyday thing. But another, like I said, that intimidation of when someone has been playing as long as you, or is younger than you, and they're better than you, and they sound better than you. That's like, oh shoot, what I do now? Like I can't have that. And sometimes you can try to go, show them that you're the oldest and you've been playing longer and you got this, and you end up screwing up. Again, don't do that. You stay in your lane, man. You just play to play. Don't play to compete. Because unless you're in a bass competition, like you don't want to find yourself competing with other, because it happens a lot. Like when you go to these musicals, bands try to indirectly compete with each other and just kill the song like in a bad way, make a song sound terrible. You just play the song and do you. Don't compete. Find yourself in competition with other bass players or any musician. If anything, you want to you know say, yo, you sound good, and ask questions like, yo, on this lick, what did you do here? Because I heard it, and most of the time, I don't know, I was just playing, but you'll find every now and then someone can show you. Like my young boy DJ, he's a beast. He kills. Every time I see him, I'm like, yo, so I need you to do something right here because I'm trying to learn. I don't care whether he's younger than me. He's like my a little bro. I watched him grow up and he's killing. Yeah, I take stuff from him all the time because I have no shame because I want to be the best bass player I can be, and that's how you want to find yourself. You always want to make sure that your ego is low and that you're growing day by day to become the best bassist that you can be. And that goes to my third, well, I guess the third level of intimidation is where you try to intimidate others, or you try to send the message we were just talking about, that I'm nice, so, and I'm here to stay. That type of where you try to put fear in someone else by doing too much, which goes into what I just said about that competition. You don't do that because it never goes well. It never goes well. And especially if you're playing in churches about, giving God the glory. And I got stories where I tried to send a message and the message wasn't sent because I sucked it up. The Lord always had a way, got a way. The Lord always, He has a way of, humbling me when I try to exalt myself above measure. And it's better that you humble yourself than for the Lord to humble you. Because when He humbles you, He takes stuff away. He makes you a mockery. Like with Nebuchadnezzar, he had him. Nebuchadnezzar got prideful, and the Lord sent them for like was it a couple months or a year? Just grazing the fields like a goat. I don't want like Lord. I'll take this opportunity to humble my own self. So it's better that you do it than the Lord do it because it never goes well. So those are basically the three levels of intimidation or being nervous slash competition that I know is out there. And for some people, it may not change, but I wanted to just do a video on it just in case you're experiencing anything like that or similar to that, to know that if you just stick to your job, do what you know is right, and everything will work out. Don't try to do above and extra. Now it's different when you're just having fun and playing around. You try to do extra, but don't do extra just to try to get a compliment, or don't do extra just because you think that someone else is there and you want to impress them. It means nothing, man. It means nothing. Again, ooh, again, the greatest form of validation is that someone hires you to play a gig. All right. So, with that being said, and my son's nose being white. That's it. It's your boy Ray J. If you found the lesson to be helpful, add a comment. If you got any questions, just hit the comments. I got you. So this your boy Ray J over and out.